This was supposed to be a Weekend Warrior Bass Series tournament recap, but if I did that, unfortunately it would be a very, very short video. Quickly cover what happened at Lake Pleasant. The second event, the Weekend Warrior Bass Series, went off this Saturday. For me, it was terrible. I weighed in one fish for 2.5 pounds on top water, and that's all I caught all day. Had a bunch of little shorts, like 6 inches, but it was really tough, and it seemed that way for the entire field. Overall, it was a great event, like always. Lyle and his family always put on a really, really good event. You know, we had the coffee and donuts in the morning. The line ran smoothly. We had hot dogs at the weigh-ins, and weigh-in went really fast. So thank you to Lyle and his family, as always, for the great event. You know, and that's the reality of tournament bass fishing, or fishing in general, is a lot of people see my videos and they're like, you know, you make fishing look so fun and it's exciting. And, you know, in reality, it's not always like that. I went out and practiced and I did really well a couple times when I went out. But unfortunately on Derby Day, it was a high pressure system, bright bluebird skies, and I just didn't adapt. Someone's always gonna catch them in a tournament. But that's the reality of this tournament fishing is you can do really well in practice and go out there and fall flat on your face, which I did. I got to fish with a buddy for the first time, and I was constantly saying, like, it wasn't like this last week. Oh, I caught him here and we were doing this and that, and it just never came to fruition. And that's the reality of fishing, and a lot of people don't realize that. The good thing is I have a camera on my boat recording mostly always if it doesn't overheat when I'm fishing. And what this video is gonna be about is basically my practice at Lake Pleasant and what I did to catch them. And thank God I have footage to actually show something in the video. The first bait is just a buzz bait. I'm gonna cover it really quickly because I feel like I've been talking about it and that's all you hear is buzz bait, buzz bait, buzz bait. But in reality, that's a great bait for fall time fishing. The river up at Pleasant is a little stained, so I wanted something a little louder, so I was throwing that up in the river. We caught them during practice, but I didn't catch any big ones up there. But it seemed like they wanted the buzz bait up in that dirtier water. The buzzbait did catch the bigger fish for us during practice and while we were out fun fishing. But another bait that's a great option to throw this time of year is a plopper style bait. This is just the CHOPPO, I think the 120, and this is the 90. And I was throwing both of these basically in the main lake, because the main lake, the water clarity, it's super clear. You could see probably 10, you know, 8 to 10 feet down. It's something a little more subtle than a buzzbait. It's not quite as loud. I would throw, you know, something with a little translucent color to it so it wasn't so bold in that clear water. Once the wind kind of died down, you know, midday when it would get slick and calm, I kind of switched over from, you know, a very loud topwater bait to a little slower moving, if that makes sense. It still has a sound to it to draw those fish up, but it's not as fast, loud as a buzz bait is. I was throwing either a gunfish walking bait or a shower blows, just a little small one. And I would usually throw that in shaded, like in shade lines or in islands or things where I knew their fish were, but they were down deep and I needed to call them up. But I needed a slower presentation to kind of walk it over those areas so the fish would come up and get it. Same thing, I would throw something with a little color in the stain water, and it's something a little more translucent, you know, more natural in the main lake where the water was clear. Finally, another bait that was working really well, which is very, very popular here in Arizona, is just a skinny dipper by Reaction Innovations. Color of your choice. I would pair it with a RYUGI Pierce hook. Now, there's a lot of debate whether you should use a 5-aught, 4-aught, 3-aught, and I think it really depends on your choice and preference. I go with a 4-aught just because it's right in between and I feel like it gets that good side-to-side rolling action. And another thing that a lot of people do, which I tried, is you get your bait and you just run a little treble hook underneath as a stinger hook. So it's almost like a mini mag draft, and you can burn it, and it has that nice side-to-side action when you're burning it over structure. I didn't get a lot of bites on the skinny dipper, or a lot of big bites on the skinny dipper, but I did catch a lot of fish. And leading up to the tournament, my idea is I would pick up, you know, like a 1 to 2 pounder every so often. And my idea was to throw the top water in the morning and try and drop a big bite or two. If I needed to, I would go to the skinny dipper or the walking bait later in the day and just try and fill my limit, possibly get a bigger bite. But that was my plan and it just didn't come to fruition. But this is a great bait to get out there and just catch some fish. Lake Pleasant really isn't a lake I go to a lot, but I wanted to fish a tournament there. You know, I want to fish as many series as I can and as many lakes as I can. And I want to be an overall better fisherman rather than just be a one-trick pony and be good at one lake. I fished 2 tournaments at Rosie the beginning of this season, and I was able to cash a check, and I wanted to challenge myself, and I'm very intimidated by that clear water. So I talked to a couple buddies and a couple guys at the shop, and you know, they were giving me different things and different tips, but that Pleasant is just a whole different animal. And once again, like I said before, you know, that's the great thing about the good and the bad thing about fishing is it's gonna constantly challenge you. And I got my butt kicked over there at Pleasant. There's always gonna be somebody who's gonna catch them. I think 12 pounds won it at Lake Pleasant. I'm not 100% sure how they did it. So if anybody wants to send me any tips or tricks on how to catch fish at Lake Pleasant, I'll be welcome to them. All these baits in the video are available at Copper State, as always, online, or you can come in the store. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I can get them next time and have a little better video.